Hi, Redeemer, Cedar Rapids and Cedar Falls. Welcome to this mask update. This one is going to introduce a significant change for us as a church. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to take turns, beginning in January through February, and then we will reassess. We'll be alternating mask and no mask services. All right, and so there'll be some more details about that later in this video, but also coming out on the website and email and things like that. Now, the big question is why? Up to this point, we've been obviously not requiring masks. We've been making them optional, and we believe that that's been good. We are not in any way through this change communicating anything about the effectiveness of masks. If you'd like to have those conversations with different people, different elders, there's just going to be a variety of opinions on that based on what people read and all that kind of stuff. This is not about the effectiveness of masks. This is about making space for our brothers and sisters to worship. Up until this point, there has been really not a lot of people that have indicated that they would come if we had masks. Most people that were staying home, the vast majority, said they wouldn't come anyway, even if we wore masks. That's been changing. We have a significantly growing number of people in our body who would come if we had masks. And they are being relegated to the online experience because we're not wearing masks. And the online experience is less than ideal, to say the least, right? I don't think anyone obviously prefers that. So when we've faced the decision of either to wear mask or to not wear mask, we believe that either one of those decisions would basically force a certain group percentage of our people to an online experience. If we went the other direction right now and said, let's wear masks, then there would be people who wouldn't come in that instance. And so we think there's that either way, like going one way or the other would do that, have that effect of basically relegating someone to an online experience. And so basically what we've determined as a pastoral team is that this is a way that we can share. Again, this is not about making determinations about the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of masks. This is about, is there a way that we can practically grant access to worship to as many people in the body as possible without relegating someone to some kind of online experience indeterminately. You may be on the more no mask side and think that it's not wise or advisable for people to stay away because of that. And likewise, you may be on the more masks side of the issue and think that it would be unwise and unadvisable for people to stay away because we wore masks. But here's the deal. We're not going to sort out all those conversations. We're just not going to. And people have a lot of some illegitimate and some legitimate reasons for why they are where they are in this. And we're just not going to sort that out. So what we're saying is there something we can do to provide the maximum number of people in our church access to the worship experience? And we believe this is it. Now, many churches have taken this approach by basically doing multiple services. We've looked at that as an option. The reality is we don't have the numbers for that. A lot of churches that are doing that, they have a lot more people than we have, especially in our Cedar Falls campus. But it's basically the same approach, just alternating. Can we take turns? And here's what I want to just encourage us to remember, that I'm in conversation with a lot of people all over the church and with a lot of different opinions. And so that helps. It helps, number one, personalize these things. And we encourage you to attach, I'm not going to name names, but I would just want to encourage you that these people are brothers and sisters that we have communion with. People that will stay away because we don't have masks. They have names, and they are our brothers and sisters, and I don't want them to feel isolated and relegated to basically some kind of exile. Likewise, I don't want to go the other direction and just go masks and relegate these other people with names. These are humans that I love and care for. And and I don't want to relegate them to some online experience. So this is basically the question, Redeemer. Can we share? Can we make space for worship and have mercy on one another? I think this is a very good application of the call to love one another. I've been very hesitant to say, the way to love one another is to wear a mask, or the way to love one another is to educate people on the efficacy of masks or non-efficacy. Like, I think there's a lot of different ways to love one another. And for us, practically as a pastoral team, we really see this as, man, regardless of where you are, and regardless of, in terms of on this issue, and regardless of how right or wrong or misled you think someone across the aisle is, can you make space for them? And so that's what we're going to do. Why wait till January? Well, number one, we want to take time to process this with the body. There's be some follow-up conversations, I'm sure. Number two, there are a lot of people who are actually self-quarantining, self-isolating, I should say, because they plan on traveling or being with family for the holidays anyway. But also, this is just going to take time to sort it out. This will affect scheduling. I imagine that there will be people who say, hey, we can serve on Mask Sundays and we can't, or vice versa. And that's going to be a challenge logistically. The staff is going to bear that for you. We're glad to do it, but it will be a logistical challenge, but it'll take some time to sort that out. We can't just roll that out Sunday. So basically January, the only exception, January through February, and then reassess, and we'll see how things go, right? The only exception to that is that the Christmas Eve service in Cedar Rapids is going to be a mask service. So that'll be the first one, and then beginning in January, we'll alternate. No mask, mask, no mask, mask. And so we'll update the website. We'll get mass communication out every week to let you know what's going on and what to expect that week. So yeah, January. Some practical things. What age are we requiring this? Are we going to be saying, hey, if you're this age, you should wear a mask? And we've determined the age is 13. At the end of the day, there's no magic number. Any number I throw out will make somebody upset and somebody glad. So there it is. Basically leaning into the what seems to be the growing understanding out there is that children are not high-spreading vectors of this. And, Fauci says the kids should be in school because they're safer there than at home. So all that to say is there's our number, 13 and up. What about exceptions, genuine exceptions, that are, people that have some kind of condition? Listen, again, here's the spirit of this. There are exceptions, and just deal with those on your own. If the spirit of this is, how can we get around this? It won't work. It just won't. So I would encourage us not to be thinking that way. If you have a genuine exception, then that's between you and the Lord. But the spirit of it, again, is not how can we get around this. The spirit of this is how can we make room? How can we share? How can we, grant access to worship for the maximum number of our brothers and sisters in crazy times? That's what we're doing. And then one other thing someone brought up regarding Cedar Falls, if you end up kind of alternating services because of the week delay, right? So Cedar Falls gets the sermon from Cedar Rapids from the previous week. So they're on a week delay when it comes to the sermon series. The solution to that is that when you stay home and watch the online service, is that you watch the previous week's online service, not the current week. So those are all archived on Facebook. And so there's a way around that. That way you're not getting repeat sermons, right? So if you're in Cedar Falls and you stay home to watch an online service, watch the previous week's online service, and that'll keep you on par with the rest of the church and the rhythms that are happening there. So I think that's all I have right now. Again, I've got to update the website, and we'll get some more clarity out with emails but let's Here's the spirit. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, I talk to people all over the place on these issues, and these people have names, and I love them, and I don't want anyone to be excluded. And so we will revisit in February. Who knows where this thing will be by then? So we'll take a run at it for 2 months, and we'll see what happens. So talk to me. You can talk to any of the pastoral team who've been part of this decision. And yeah, let's love one another in difficult times. All right? See you soon.